Good evening, all. This is part of a two-part video series, the other part of which is currently uploading to YouTube as we speak. That one, called Commendations Are in Order, is a, or at least I think that was the title I gave it. Either way, I'll figure it out as I go. Actually, let me double check what the exact title was I gave it. Yes, Commendations Are in Order. That's a video where I talked about where I actually gave a congratulations, and I'm going to be sending a book that actually means quite a bit to me. Not just the book in general, but the particular copy of the book I'm sending actually means quite a lot to me personally, because of this fact. Assuming he's actually willing to accept the book via mail. But that is a side note. And now I want to bring up some issues on my channel. Unfortunately, I have to speak my mind on this, because of the fact that I feel like I have been slipping too much into social conformity for the past while. Allow me to raise specifically the points in particular that are bugging me, and I would actually like feedback from particular people. I will be posting this video as well to my Facebook, and the friends in question, I will not mention them by name, because of the fact that I only wish to speak to the actions that were the actions and the words that were said, not the people themselves. Again, I'm trying to work on a critical thinking scale here. But nonetheless, I do feel that these issues at least need to be explored, if not fully addressed. The other day, I had a miscommunication with a friend of mine, the same friend who is currently being commended right now. And as I said, I've already given him the commendation, so that's not the issue. The issue, however, was in response to when I attempted to post a sort of request on my Facebook page. I posted a request that basically said, a very strong request, that people please lay out their arguments, no matter what position they hold, if they're going to respond to one of my posts on Facebook. The reason for this is that if I am attempting to learn from them, based on a particular idea or whatever they're saying, I need to be able to understand the full of where their argument is coming from, so this way I can analyze if I'm wrong on something. Also, it would be beneficial for other readers too. It's not just me. This is something for everybody. Now, I also did say that that in the process of this, that I was actually putting a new rule enforcement system down on this. If after I said everyone please let me know if I have failed in this standard of not properly laying out an argument, and then I would promptly take down the post accordingly or edit it, so this way at least it would be a fully thought out argument. However, I also said that for anyone else, and this was applied to blanket everybody who posted on my Facebook page or commented thereon, that they would get a 3 strikes policy. And if they failed after 3 warnings to lay out their arguments in full, for what they were thinking at the time, then I was going to delete the comment, take a screenshot of the comment, and send them a private message with the screenshot letting them know, again, please message your argument, just as a little way of trying to, establish some order on my Facebook page. Now, one of my friends responded to this, and we had a lengthy conversation before I took down the post. Anyway, we had a lengthy conversation, but it started off with, I believe the exact quote was, and now, mind you, I am working from memory because I took the post down for social cohesion reasons. The response was, by posting this, you are sounding like an ass. This is Facebook, not a forum run by you. My response was, since this actually is my Facebook page where I do have a certain amount of control, I actually think I am right in making this particular request. That said, there may be a particular, maybe the wording's a little wrong. Then I can't remember the exact wording, but I believe it was, again, something about, I would just simply say I would go by the rule of, just don't sound like was it the rule? No, that was in the private message afterwards. Anyway, so basically, there was another remark, again, about me sounding like an asshole. Finally, I responded with, I am torn between examining this idea on principle or just simply acquiescing for social cohesion. The friend responded, this is not about social cohesion, this is about you sounding like an ass. I finally wound up just saying, fair point, I'll take the post down. I later spoke to them in private message, and the private message continues as follows. Let me actually pull it up from the private message, because this I do have a record for, and while I'm not going to show it for privacy reasons, I can at the very least directly quote from it. So just give me a sec for the private messages page to load while I locate it. Yeah, here we go. This is it. So the last few messages. Okay, basically, I believe I said, Sorry about that. The guy responding to my latest Peter McKay post was kind of the latest in a line of people who are trying to enforce a viewpoint in this sort of manner. Yes, I have had problems before with people not laying out their arguments, so this was kind of a thing, and I got a little bit. All those comments, a lot of those comments I deleted, trying to put them out of my mind. But I needed something a bit more stringent to address the issue. I thought I should have, and basically they suggested. Oh yes, I remember there was one other element. I asked, how would you handle this problem? Then the person said, well, then they're being an ass, and that's what the block button is for. So I said I should have thought of the block button for them. Thanks. That was again part of my acquiescing, and part of the fact that I had completely overlooked a particular aspect. The friend said, I tend to go by the rule of not being or sounding like an ass. My response was, I know, if I actually knew how not to do that, I would probably follow it a lot more often. The friend just think, how would I feel if someone told me, or if someone told me to do this? However, if you're unsure, then you can always ask blank or I. Me. Okay, since I generally end up ignoring my emotions and trying to get to the heart of the matter and the reasoning, I'll go with the second option of checking with you guys until I can learn how to not have my emotions suppressed in favor of critical thinking and better balance the two. Friend, yeah, only using critical thinking often ends with you coming off as pretentious. And then, of course, I basically said, yeah, I'm trying to find a way to relate it, but not so that I come off as pretentious. Then then I made another post and a share, and there were some discussions with other people. However, I think that there are a couple of things that I need to address with this friend. And now, the reason why I'm making this public, but not specifically saying the friend's name, is, again, I'm talking about the actions and the words that were said. You see, the thing is that I think that the idea of rejecting critical thinking or asking people in some form to try to keep a level of in-depth analysis, critical thinking, and civility on, in a debate, attempting to ask friends politely to do that, just this way, at least on one person, at least on my personal page, where I have a greater amount of control. I think A, I was partly within my right to do that, but B, even if it wasn't an authority thing, which is again, within my rights kind of deal, on the more critical thinking front, I do think that it does work, largely because of the fact that the person who I commended afterwards, Dan Johnson, the fact that we responded so well actually meant that I was a lot less angry over the issues. I was able to respond a lot more critically, and even if we end up disagreeing, the fact is the tone of the conversation was significantly more civil. It was significantly more civil, and significantly, it actually focused on the issue at hand. So again, some headway may have actually been made in one way or another. Even if we were still at a deadlock, at least there was some headway made in the sense that I had to do more research, and that, and the fact that he at least pointed out some very potential real flaws with the article I posted. Again, I'm still not sure on that, but we'll see how it plays out. That being said, again, the fact is that, again, there is demonstrable evidence as to why this works. I hate to say it, but the thing is that to reject an idea out of hand, someone even asking this kind of thing, on the grounds that it makes them come off sounding like an ass, or using only critical thinking, in favor of suppressing emotion, is just like makes you come off as pretentious and therefore is not the best idea or not doable. I understand the idea for relations' sake, but to actually debunk the idea on those, but to debunk the idea, the idea itself on those grounds, or that the action itself is inappropriate, period, which is the way that it came across to me. Now, again, I admit there may have been a miscommunication and a misinterpretation on my part, but if that was if that was actually the meaning that my friend had in mind by saying, using only critical thinking makes you sound pretentious or come across, what was the exact wording again? Yeah, often ends with you coming off as pretentious. If that is the actual thing, and therefore to reduce critical thinking, and incorporate emotion more in decision making, that is an ad hominem attack. Much as I hate to say it, but it is an ad hominem attack. It is a form of fallacy, and it really does kind of undermine the whole process of trying to get at the truth. And much as I hate to say it, I have a concern about the, I have a bit of a concern about the fact that, that if, and this is not the only friend where I've had issues like this before. So, now, again, most of you who I've had issues with this in particular, I've talked with you before about these issues, and again, we're generally good on this. but I want to make this public because I want to make this public without naming the person in question, because I want to set the precedent that this kind of thing, you know, there is a bit of an impasse we are facing right here. And the issue is we need to figure out a way by which we can incorporate critical thinking at the core of the discussions while still having some of the social niceties and the social graces, so shall we say, included, so as to be able to make the conversation easier. But basically the question is, how do we do it in such a way so as to maintain civility and maintain ongoing, but also at the same time to maintain ongoing in-depth analysis? And I know that not everyone wants to do it, but you know, if you're going to respond to a post and get involved in a debate, then, you know, is not the whole point of getting involved in a debate attempting to achieve the truth, whatever it might happen to be? You know, and yes, I understand that social niceties are part of the equation. We do need them for human interaction, but is there a way that we can balance them out rather than and using only critical thinking in that particular form? Much as I hate to say it, you know, she might be right for social relations, but if the reasoning that I came off it, which was, you know, which was basically try to diminish critical thinking to balance with emotions in decision-making processes, I hate to say it, but, you know, I really can't handle that kind of ad hominem attack. And, you know, so I am politely asking my friends to please at least try to be a bit more, you know, especially my friends who know about this kind of thing and that I've mentioned it to them before, at least please try to, even if you're not going to do it with other friends, I'm just going to ask that please at least try to consider the possibility of avoiding avoiding fallacies of this sort. Now, there's another issue that I want to bring up, and I want to highlight about another one of my friends as well. Recently, one of my friends posted on their Facebook that they are now asking friends to talk with them via a phone sex hotline. Now, again, I am not disparaging the phone sex hotline bit. That is a business decision on their end, and that is entirely fine. However, the conversation that we had over this, and while I've got the messages up, this particular decision is actually one that I have a serious concern of. The context surrounding it, I have a bit of a serious concern about, and this was what my issue was. I specifically said the following in the Facebook messages. I specifically said. Now, I may have gotten a little snippy at the end, so to that friend again, I apologize. I may have crossed a line there near the end. But we'll scroll up to the very last thing that I said. Yes, here we go. I said, "Is calling you via the sex line necessary just to talk to you as a friend?" Then I said, laugh out loud. It's kind of a joke. I said, "I mean, way to go on you opening the new line of business, if that's what you want to do. It's just I'm hoping that your friend, that you're not defining your friend, who your friends are purely by who calls you on this line. And if you are, I'd kind of like to know. I'd kind of like to know. I think I actually said I'd like to know, but again, that was a typo." Her response was, "The sad things about friendships is that most people have an agenda. Everything, even getting to your friend's place, costs money, which seriously ain't easy to come by in my part of time." My response was, "Yeah, except that my friendship with people has only one agenda. It has always been so that everyone can exchange information and ideas freely, support each other in whatever developments they want to make, and unite against those who would oppress others, so that truth and freedom might be available to all." So yeah, I just want to be clear. I will call you on your line, but I want to make it clear that I'm not doing this because I think I need to buy your friendship. I'm doing it for the reason that I'm supporting a decision you made. I'm just hoping that in the process, this isn't the only method you are using to judge who your friends are. Because if payment is the only way that you will judge friends, then what happens when people who used to be your friends are too poor to call you? And then I followed up with, I'm always strapped for cash these days, and there might come a time when I myself can't afford to call you. Will I lose you as a friend because I couldn't talk to you on the line anymore? And then I followed up with, after I found an account on the website, "Oh, small problem. I tried calling the service and setting up an account online. In both places, they insisted on a credit card. I can't sign up because I don't have a credit card, and I refuse to get one because I refuse to be in debt again. I suppose I can always be a Facebook friend if you're still up to it. Or, if money is how you are judging friends now, name me a figure and an email address, and if I can afford it, I'll wire you the money via PayPal, and we can stay friends for however long the money will buy." You see, the reason why I would like to comment on this particular issue to this particular friend is because of the fact that this is an issue that I see in politics quite a lot, namely the idea of lobbying. Politicians quite often can be swayed by big lobby groups, pharmaceuticals, big oil, or any group that has a large amount of money to throw around, generally by contributing it to your campaign fund for the next election to keep you in power. And the problem with this is that, again, if money, and the thing is that we have seen in some cases that it can be very helpful, but on other issues like environmental, health issues, and various other public policy issues, we have seen it be a very bad detriment to our society. For that reason, I would see, and maybe in some cases, but the fact is that because of the fact that it can lead to swaying people's opinions as to what matters and what doesn't matter, or what is considered truth, or what opinions they will listen to one over another, based on as in the idea of money talking rather than truth talking, I am concerned about the fact that another one of my friends may be crossing down this line. So to that end, I am asking the friend in question, and again, they will know who they are because of the fact that they will be watching this particular video. I am hoping that my friend in question who has gone through this route will please remember to at least try to talk to friends off of the line as well. So at least this way, people who are considered friends and who might have useful opinions in one way or another, and I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about anyone in general. That it will not just be money that talks to you, but that you will be open-minded to all opinions possibly coming your way, regardless of position, whether they be agreeing or disagreeing. So to that end, I would like to call on that particular issue as well. I think that pretty much covers everything I had in mind. I'm wondering if there's a response to... yes, there is a response from another friend on here. Okay. Okay, well that was good enough. There was just another friend commenting on one of my links recently. So yes, I believe that with everything, this concludes the portion of my concerns that might have come up. Please wait for the video commending and congratulating Dan Johnson and him having won his prize for having laid out a very, very good argument, albeit one that I disagree with wholeheartedly, in favor of his position. So again, please wait for that particular section, which should be uploading. It's only at 21%. Why is YouTube so slow right now? But anyway, we will see this. We will see that second part coming up in a bit. And in the meantime, as always, keep thinking deeply. Try to push beyond the horizon. As far as you possibly can. And as always, peace out.